Hello folks, welcome to BandLab. No lovely face of mine today, so you will get signed up today with email. Don't type in anything, just click G at the bottom. Use your school Google account to get logged in. Once you do so, you'll be met with the home screen. It looks probably a little something like this. This is your feed. I don't know what we'll eventually see here. Maybe because we're linked up as a class, maybe we'll see each other's stuff. I don't know. I've never used this app at all before. So tabs at the bottom, I'm scrolling through here. This is like a discover page. It looks like you can see some other people's content that they've created, some events, contests coming up, etc. I'll skip the plus sign for now and go over to the notifications. I don't have much going on here yet. Again, maybe this will be something that when I push out assignments through BandLab, maybe this is where you see them. I don't know. Off to the right, this is the projects that you have possibly started. Right now, I don't really have anything yet. If I were to click create project, it actually takes me to the same spot as this big plus sign at the bottom of this menu here. So either one of those will take you to this screen here. Your first assignment is to create a looping beat and understand how that part works. So you'd be tempted to click looper, but that's not what we're doing today. We'll come back to looper another day. We're going to be using MIDI instruments. So I like this app because it has a whole lot more going on with it than GarageBand does. It's all free. You could access this on kind of any device is what it looks like. I've been on it on my work computer. You can pull it up on a Chromebook. It's all web-based, so if you prefer to use it on the computer, which I actually do, please do that. But since a lot of us are constrained to our iPads, my tutorials will be through the iPad app. But anyways, today you'll be looking up at the top for a drum kit. So we have all these different instruments up at the top here: keyboards, drums, orchestral, guitars, yada yada yada. We'll get to a lot of that stuff, but today let's just click drums. You can get a preview of what these kits sound like by clicking play, and it will give you a quick preview. So a lot of different sounds. This is all just drum kits, so there's a lot of great stuff that you can use in your collection. Let's see, what am I going to go with today? I'll go with Abstract Hip Hop Kit. So once you get a kit up by tapping on, first you download the kit and then you just tap on it to open it up. So pretty typical touch interface, but like our discussion on Schoology, the timing is what we're concerned with. So one of the big things we would have been hitting in class using some of the more high-powered tools we had in the lab, but that we can do here is using a beat sequencer to create a beat, because it takes the guesswork out of the timing. Because try as we may to create a nice beat through tap, and I actually find BandLab to be more responsive than GarageBand in general, and you can do a pretty good job of tapping it out. But if you want to be precise, look towards the bottom right-ish. Under this clap here, for me anyways, is like a little pencil with 3 kind of lines in here. That's where I'm heading to get to the beat sequencer. So you can still preview all your instruments, by clicking on them off through the first column here. And what you see highlighted in a blue box is your first bar. So you have 1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. That is all considered one bar of music. And within there you have four notes that you could incorporate in a specific sound. So I'm going to create a very basic beat here just with a kick drum and a snare. And I'm going to keep it as simple as possible because I can come back and edit this later, and that's kind of the point. So just get yourself a simple little kind of kick and snare or whatever your kit is, just kind of a simple little beat. You can click the arrow on the bottom, kind of the backwards play button that takes you to the beginning in case you're not already. Click play and get a preview of what you got going on there. So get yourself a little a little beat made up, and then pause the video here, and then we'll talk about how we can loop this particular beat, which is very important. Okay, so I'm going to click done on what I've created here. And that takes me back to my kit. What I want to do is actually, this part's a little bit confusing. It was hard for me to remember. I had to go back to the tutorial video to find it. But up above the symbol for me here is a little downward arrow next to a Q. And this takes you to kind of your track view for what you've created so far. So far I have very basic little drum and snare, kick drum and snare beat, and I want to loop that now. So I'm going to click on my blue square I've created here, and I'm going to tap loop. And it asks me essentially at the bottom here how long I want to loop this thing. I can do it for 4 bars, I can do it for 8 bars, I can do it for 16 bars, which is actually really helpful if you're trying to create like a hip-hop song or any song for that matter, where typically a beat would probably repeat for maybe 16 bars and then switch to something slightly different. But for today, we're just practicing creating a loop for the entire song. So go ahead and hit that last icon, which is an arrow to the right, and that will replicate your beat all the way through your song. And if you scroll all the way to the end, by default, maybe like me, you have 180 bars. Let's say you only want to have half of that. So let's go to 90 here, kind of scrolling my my work back to, let's try and get that white bar with the line or the circle at the top, right between bar 90 and 91. So that's the half point of our song. Once I have that here, I can tap into the bar here and click slice. And I now have 2 separate pieces of my loop here, kind of 2 chunks. So let's say I want to delete this chunk here and maybe switch to a different variation of my beat for the second half of the song. But for now, I've got 90 bars of this looping beat. And that's cool. But let's say I want to get back in there and edit my beat a little bit more. So I'm going to tap edit. What's very cool about this is if I want to continue to kind of mess around with my beat a little more and add a little bit more to it, like let's say I want to add some hi-hat into the mix. All I have to do is add in the instrument on that first bar, and as you maybe have noticed yourself, the rest of the 90 bars were added automatically for me. So obviously that saves you a ton of work, and this allows you then to make changes on the fly of what exactly you're trying to do with your beat. So now I've made some changes to just this 1 bar here, but it's in reality made changes to 90 bars. So a bit of a trashy beat, but more importantly, we're seeing how to create that loop and edit that loop. So give that a go. Tomorrow we'll talk about, or try and figure out how to turn this in through BandLab. I'm not quite sure about that part yet. So that's my experimentation today. I'm gonna click done here. And as you can see, all my changes have been added all throughout my 90 bars here. So that's a very cool feature in BandLab here. Good luck today.